Pulp City is a game which sees superpowered heroes take on superpowered villains, all against the backdrop of a dark city in a world not unlike our own. Known as Supremes, the players take on the role of members of teams who battle against one another through either law, chaos, or their own agenda. The rulebook is of a high standard and begins with an outline of the main rules. The game uses cards for each miniature, with a profile for each, an outline of the various attributes and other tests made on 6-sided dice, activated by action points on the action pool, the 3 levels of character, Supremes, minions and monsters, the structure of a turn, and the overall turn process, which makes for a fluid, fast-moving game. The game rules are fairly simple, with each activation of a character having a cost, which is paid by use of the action pool. This pool replenishes at the start of each turn, but this pool of points will never quite be enough to activate all your models. The actions available to Supremes, minions and monsters are either fairly generic, movement for example, or are exclusive to that particular character, group of minions or a monster. Some of the offensive or defensive actions require line of sight, whilst others affect an area. These exclusive actions are based upon the world of the comic book, so can be devastating and destructive. Some are straightforward powers, others delve into the realms of science fiction or the supernatural. Of course, slugging it out toe-to-toe is a feature of the comic books, so rules and bonuses are provided for this aspect as well. With every model representing a larger-than-life comic book style character, the actual Pulp City itself is a setting full of potential adventures and dangers. Battles are fought on at least a 2-foot by 2-foot slice of this multifaceted city, defined by scenarios and player agreement. The city is fully destructible, with rules for making use of the various types of structures. Of course, a city has ordinary citizens, who are an integral part of the action and must be saved or made victims as desired. There are various factions defined within the rulebook, which may be used off the shelf or used as a starting point for recruiting a team and defining the plot or narrative for your own story. Leaders may only choose team members from a similar alignment or faction, with 3 types of card being available: recruitment, the characters, action, 1-use special cards, and faction cards, which defines your team's special rules and origin. Comic books are essentially story-led, another genre of fiction, so it is essential to create some type of narrative. The rules cover this with the plots and agendas section, which provide motivations and scenarios to form the basis of the story players create. Another aspect of a story can be the foes, and the monsters section provides details over these extremely dangerous foes, the types of creature who care little for factions or have their own plans, usually to destroy and conquer. The remainder of the rulebook outlines the main heroic and villainous factions, outlining them in more detail whilst also providing an insight into the figures available to game with. These represent the classic archetype associated with the 4-colour world of the comic book, embracing those from the Golden Age down to the modern day. These are perhaps best exemplified by the miniatures available, with starter sets of individual miniatures coming with the relevant cards and information to be used in the game. The rulebook and the miniatures are of a high quality and will be of interest to any fan of the comic book universe. This set of rules guarantees a fast-moving, action-packed gaming experience where every die roll can lead to success or failure, plus the potential for the warping and destruction of Pulp City itself. Now, anyone ready to get their capes and cowls?